the first side here, we'll show that you can see it, that grid up there. Okay, so I've got a little grid. On your culminating activity, you should use a graph paper, or a piece of graph paper, at least one piece of graph paper, to make your pentagon, right? Because it says you have a pentagonal property lot, okay? And every corner, every vertex of your pentagon, every vertex of your property is marked by a tree. And it tells you from the origin, which is your house, how to get to each of those trees. So, for example, we're going to use this first page. Okay? We're going to say that we had a triangular lot, because I'm just going to do a short one and let you practice with the longer ones here. Okay? So let's say that here was my house. We're here, and let's say that you have to go not 3 meters, because that would be a really small piece of property, but I don't know, 3 miles would be a really big piece of property. We'll just say 3 units, not even worried about what the units are. But we go 3 units west, and then 5 units north. So that would be the point -3, 5. So 3 units west, 5 units north. Because right on your sheet, right on your instructions, it gives you the little, that's done. How did they teach you to remember the northeast, southwest? I remember how I learned it when I was in school. Did you have any like mnemonic devices to remember? No? Mine was never eat shredded wheat. That's the only reason that I'm able to remember that to this day. Never eat shredded wheat. NESW if you go counterclockwise, right? So if they say you go west 3, you go left 3. If they say you go north 5, you go up 5. So let's say now we're going to go east and north. Okay? +3 units east, and then 2 units north. Okay? And then you go 1 unit east and 2 units south. So 1, 2 units south. And if you connect those dots, you've got a triangular piece of property, whatever. Now in Unit 8, we're going to look at finding the area of these with the box method, which is pretty neat. I'm going to have you set the box method up and then use what you did in Unit 1 with the Pythagorean Theorem to find the perimeter, the distance around your property. So what you have here is a triangle that's not a right triangle, but it's on a grid. So as it says in step 1, I want you to create a box by drawing a right triangle from every non-vertical, non-horizontal side. So this is what I mean. This side is not vertical or horizontal. So I'm going to draw a right triangle. I'm going to go horizontal off of one vertex and vertical off the other vertex, and they're going to meet at a right angle. So I'm going to go vertical off this one, up my grid line.
Here's what I found.
Thank you. All right. Oh, great. Siri's telling me what a right angle is. You love technology. Okay. And let me cross. So there's a right angle. That's what I want you to do with me right now. So go for it. If you don't have this paper, okay, see me. I think I gave everybody one. So make sure you do a right triangle. Go up from point, we'll call this B, and go left, okay, to point F. And then this is point C on your paper. Okay. Give you a second to do that. And that will give you enough information to find segment B, F. We're going to continue our box. grab a different color. To find BC, we're going to start at B. We have to go down to get to C, so I'm going to go down. And I'm going to go right from C. Again, I'm making a right angle. So now I've got a right triangle. My hypotenuse is segment BC. And then finally, I want to find segment FC's distance. So the measure of segment FC I can find by going horizontally and vertically. Okay, so now with my black triangle, I can find the length of FC, because that's my hypotenuse. So this is basically making 3 little mini questions that are like one of your topics from Unit 1. Okay? So let's find, hopefully you remember the never eat shredded wheat. That's good. Let's find the measure of BF. Okay. What's the Pythagorean theorem? In your own words, anybody? What's the Pythagorean theorem? Shout it out. I said, what's the Pythagorean theorem, dude? Yeah, what's the Pythagorean theorem? You remember? No? Eli? What's the Pythagorean theorem? Okay. Sarah? That's how most people remember it. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Perfect. Awesome. I like to just remember that A and B are my legs. They're the 90-degree angle makers. And then the C is the hypotenuse. So it's leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So I want to know, how long is this leg right here? You can go ahead and count it if you wish. Anybody got it? Steve, you have it? From here to here? That's 3, sure. Okay. And you can just count on your grid, or you can say from 2 up to 5 is 3. So this is 3. What about this leg? We can call this side A. How about this side right here? Let's see. Emma, you have the length of side over here. And the only reason I'm doing the ABC is because that's how people like to remember it. If this is point F, we would usually call this side F. Okay, point B, side B. Okay? But we're going to call it A, B, and C just for the sake of Pythagorean theorem. Emma, how long is that? I agree. Yeah, exactly. So and this is left to right, so we look at our x's. From -3 to 3 is 6 units long. Cool beans. Okay, so you got one leg is 3, one leg is 6, and we want the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse, we can call it C if you want, right? So now we set up the Pythagorean theorem because a right triangle has the Pythagorean theorem as a property, right? The Pythagorean property works only for right triangles. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Okay. All right. So now for the squaring. 3 squared, what do we have? 9. 6 squared, what do we got? 36 equals C squared. The We continue with our simplifying. 45 equals c squared. We don't want c squared. We want c. How do I unsquare c squared? Exactly. The square root and the squaring are inverse operations. That's the reason why on your graphing calculator, when you have the x squared button, right above it is the square root, because those are inverse operations. They cancel each other out. So you take the square root of both sides. The square root and the squared cancel. Boom, C. Square root of 45. It is 6 point something, yeah. We can just leave it as square root of 45 for right now, but on your test, on your culminating activity, it does say to round it. So if you take a calculator and you type in square root 45, enter, then you'll round it as the question asks you. So if it asks you to round to the nearest tenth, round it. Okay. Right now, I know that this is a square root of 45. Okay. Anybody have a calculator? They want to type it in? If not, I got one I can type. You want to do it, Steve? Okay, we'll come back to this one here in just a second.
Please excuse the interruption. At this time, juniors located on the second floor, please report to the cafeteria for your photos and IDs. Again, juniors only. Located on the second floor, please report to the caf for photos and IDs.
6.7. Okay. So because we're rounding it, I'm going to put the approximation. So C is approximately 6.7 units long. 6.7 units. That's C. So that's the length of BF. Now let's do it for BC. This is my green side, so I'm going to make it in green. Okay? Does anybody have the Pythagorean Theorem already done? You do, Eli? What do you have, man? 2 squared plus 4 squared. So from 1 to 3 is 2. And from -2 up to 2 is 4. I like it. Okay? So we have a 2 and a 4. And then this is our C for this triangle, the green one. 2 squared plus 4 squared. Who wants it? Anybody? 2 squared? 2 squared plus 4 squared is 4 plus 16. I like it. 20. All right. What do we do with this? Square root. Okay. The square root of 20. Let's round it to the 10th again. You're the only one that's typing, Steve? You want to type this one in? Square root of 20? 4.2-ish. Is that rounded? Square root 20, enter. 4.472. Okay? 4.472. So let's talk rounding for just a quick second. 4.472. If I want to round that to the nearest tenth, what do we have? 4.5, because the digit after the tenth place is bigger than a 4. So 4.5. Okay. So this C here is 4.5 units long. Okay. All right. And now my last side, the black side over here. Anybody have the triangle measures already set? This side, anybody got them? I know somebody worked ahead. Nate, you have one? Go for it.
squared plus 4 squared.
Okay, so from -3 to 1 is 4. That's my change in x. From -2 to 5 is 7. So we've got, for CF, we got 4 squared plus 7 squared equals the hypotenuse c squared. Okay? Sweet. Okay. 4 squared is 7 squared. 49. Woohoo! Okay? Add them together. What do you get? 65. What do we do with this? Square root. Square root of 65. 8.0625. 8.06. So to the nearest tenth. 8.1, because 0.6, 6 rounds the 0 up. Okay? So we found all 3 sides, 8.1 units. That's the Pythagorean Theorem part that we did. And now it says step 3, perimeter equals the sum of the sides. SUM, sum, means you add them. So all you do to find the perimeter of your property, if you had a triangular piece of property, you would add 6.7 plus 8.1 plus 4.5. Add them together, what do you get? 19.3 units. That's it. Okay, so step 1 is to make the right triangles, which creates a box. Step 2 is to take each triangle, find the hypotenuse. Okay, and now you've got all the sides. Then, if you want perimeter, you just add the sides together. So on the back of the Pythagorean Theorem activity, you've got a quadrilateral and you've got a pentagon. Okay, so I'm going to give you some time to find the perimeter of those by finding each side length using the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay? Once you've done that, if you need to work on your reviews or any of the assignments that you were supposed to have done this week, take that time. If you want to work ahead on the day 1 assignment that has been posted in Alex, I'll have a video up for that probably today. You can go ahead and work ahead if you wish, but make sure you get these 2 questions done. The big thing is the culminating activity is a summative grade. So please make sure that you take care of that by next week. Okay? For this group, it's Thursday because this is my B cohort. Right? Any questions over this right here? Which parts, if any, would give you difficulty? Which part of this is the most difficult, do you think? Which part's the toughest? Is there any tough part? Making the triangles, setting up Pythagorean Theorem, doing the algebra to solve it, adding them up for the perimeter. Are any of those difficult for any of you? It's okay if it's tough. I mean, you know, it's more satisfying when you do stuff that's tough. But if it's easy, then cool. All right, so again, that's from part 2 of your culminating activity. I'm going to let you work on those. We'll come back together and find out what people have for their answers in a few minutes. I'll give you, let's see, we have about 35 minutes in class. I'll give you 5 minutes per question. I'll give you 10 minutes, and then we'll come back together and we will go over these. Okay? Okay. Let's